Pandas Replace. You use Pandas Replace when you want to simply replace some values in your data frame with other values. However, this sneaky little function starts off very simple and then gets more complicated and specific after that. But it is also very powerful. So let's see how it works. First thing that we'll do is we'll import pandas as PD. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a data frame. Now this data frame will have three columns in it. We'll have 3 columns in it, and we'll have 5 rows: columns X, columns Y, and columns Z. And what we're first going to do is a very simple use case of just replacing all of the 2s with 20s. So if we go back to our data frame here, you can see that there's a 2 right here. And what I'm going to say is, I'm going to say DataFrame.replace. I'm going to specify a toReplace, which is just the value 2. So this means it's going to go find all the 2s in the data frame and then replace them. And it's going to replace them with what I put in value. So in here, I put 20. It should replace it with 20. As you can see here, it found all the 2s in the data frame. There's only 1, and then it replaced it with 20. However, what's cool is you can also pass a list into the toReplace field. And here I'm passing a list of 1, 3, and 5, but only the value 20 here. So what this will do is this will find all the 1s, the 3s, and the 5s within the data frame and replace them with 20. Go ahead and run this. And you can see here, the 1 that was right here got replaced with 20, as the 3, as the 5, and there was also a 5 in this position on the Y column. So it spans multi-columns. It will just look at your entire data frame and replace them with what you tell it to. The next example that we'll see here is when we want to replace multiple values at the same time, but with different values after that. So in this case, I'm passing 2 lists, 1 to replace and also 1 in value. But what this does is it'll actually map 1 to 1. So the 1s will get replaced with 10s, the 3s will get replaced with 30s, and the 5s will get replaced with 50s. Go ahead and run this. And the 1 to 10, 3 to 30, 5 to 50, and also 5 to 50 up here. So the next thing that we'll do is we will set values via a dictionary. So in this case, beforehand, we actually had to specify a value that we wanted to replace with. However, we can do that same thing by actually just even having value equals none, but having a dictionary in the toReplace field. So in this case, the 1s will get replaced with 10s, the Z's will get replaced with double Z's, and the V's with triple V's. Go ahead and run this. And what you can see here is the Z's get replaced, the V got replaced, and also the 1 in our X column got replaced. All right. Now, what if, say, for example, you do not want to replace values across your entire data frame? You only have 1 column you want to replace values with. Or maybe you have 2 specific columns. Either way, you want to have column-specific replacement. So in this case, I'm calling on column X, I want to replace all the 5s with 50s. Now, if you go back to our original data frame up at the top here, you can see that column X has a 5 down at the bottom, and column Y also has a 5 up at the top. But I only want to switch the X ones. So in this case, what I'll do is I will run this, and you can see here that only the 5 in the X column gets replaced. Now, second to last, is we could have multiple replacements across multiple columns, and the replacements are column specific. So in the X's, I want to replace these values. In the Y column, I want to replace these values. And in the Z column, I want to replace these values. Go ahead and run this. And you can see here that only that the 1 got replaced, the 4 got replaced, the 8, the 9, and then the X's, or not the X's, yeah, the X's, the Y's, and the Z's. And finally, to finish it off here, what we'll do is look at a fill method. So in this case, I'm telling .replace that I want to replace the 1s, the 2s, the W's, and the 4s. The value is going to be none, but I'm going to specify a method, and the method I'm going to specify is bfill or backfill. Go ahead and run this. And what we can see here is that the 1 and the 2 that were right here got replaced with the value in front of it, or the value below it, however which way you want to look at it, which was 3. So the 2 got replaced with 3, and the 1 got replaced with 3. And also we wanted to replace the 4, which is right here. So that got replaced with 5. And then this W, for example, was sitting right here, but because the V was below it, the W got replaced with the V. So this is almost like a dynamic replacement depending on what is in front of it. That is Pandas Replace.